G'day, Chief. Welcome to the Chief podcast and this special episode, which we call the Mini Chief. These are short, sharp highlights from our fabulous CEO guests, where you get a 5 to 10 minute snapshot of the highlights from their episode. Righto, Chief. Without further ado, here is the Mini Chief episode for this week with Golf Master Coach Steve Bann.
Golf swings change is a reaction to ball flight, contact with the conditions you're playing in, or a physiological change, age, injury, fatigue, diet, other sports and activities. So our job in the assessment is to find out why the swing has changed, because the only way you can fix it is by identifying the real bottleneck, the real constraint. If you go and fix it with some theory of new swing method or technology, when the whole reason that your swing's changed is because you're tight in the back because of some activity you're doing, and now you're lifting up off it. The concept of trying not to lift up off it on the backswing is not going to help, and that's kind of reactive stuff. So,
yeah, and I draw a parallel into the business world where perhaps someone is delivering a presentation to a board or senior leaders, and it's maybe one of their first times, and they get it wrong. And they go back and they just look at every word they said, and they draw this immediate conclusion. The thing that went wrong was the content of the presentation. But if they went maybe an hour or two before, maybe it was their setup mentally. What they did before, did they run around like crazy, or did they get themselves in the game? What was the quality of their rehearsal? Did they film themselves in advance? Did they have too much coffee? Were they nervous because they went down that track? Were they too tired from the night before for one reason or another? The root cause analysis is so important, because sometimes the content of your presentation is perfect.
yes.
But it's being impacted by so many other factors, and getting that root cause right can make a huge difference to your performance uplift.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And look, just on that coffee, on the diet, I mean, I worked out very early on that if I have a coffee before I play, I've got the yips on the first green. I mean, I've got that, because you add the caffeine to the nervous anticipation of playing a sport, and then it's just the whole thing's compounded. So, that, the big three in golf are hydration, caffeine and sugar.
Yeah, and look at the business world, that's what's sitting around the office all day, every day, and you go into a key meeting and you're wondering why your hand is shaking a bit. Well, there's some nervous energy because you're in front of someone who's important, or it's a difficult conversation, and you've just doped yourself with a bit of caffeine as well, and you're wondering why.
And then you go and judge your performance and probably start making an assessment of, okay, I went wrong because of this, and it could have been something as simple as... So we really have to have a look at it. I use an example of finding the real constraint, or what the bottleneck is, and this is a real life one that I went through quite a few years ago with Stuart Appleby, and he was having a tough year on the greens, where his putting average had gone out from 1.7 putts per green in regulation to 1.75, and that equates to a couple of shots a tournament, which is a lot of money when you're on the PGA Tour. So he's working his butt off trying to improve his putting, and everything we looked at, technically it was good, his putting program was good, his mental approach to his putting was good, but his putting average just wasn't getting any better. So fortunately on the PGA Tour we have stats for everything now, and so I went and had a look. I thought there's got to be more to this, so I went and I had a look at his average distance from the pin, and his average distance from the pin had gone out by about 5 feet from the previous couple of seasons. So you think, it's his approach shots. It's not his putting at all, so we'll go and work on his approach shots. So you think, I've got it. And I go, hang on a second, I'm going to have a look at something else. So I take back another layer, and where is the approach shots coming from? They're actually coming out of the rough more often than they used to come out of the rough, from about 20 yards further back than they used to come out of the rough, because the ball that lands in the rough... so now he's hitting...
harder to control on the green.
It's harder to control on the green, and it's further back because it doesn't get the run on the fairway. So he's probably hitting a couple of clubs longer, no spin. So I think, where's the real constraint? He's driving it like rubbish.
There it is.
And then we looked at his driving average, he'd gone from 65% down to low 50s. We've got to hit more fairways. Hit more fairways, get more shots out of the fairway from closer to the green, you hit it closer to the pin, you make more putts. So we could have spent a year working on his putting, and it wasn't until we'd spent some time working on his putting that we went back and stripped away 3 or 4 layers before we realised his driving was what was holding his putting back.
Beautiful. I think that is one of the most fantastic analogies of where we focus all our effort on something that is in front of us. We get myopic at the problem that is happening to us every single day without looking upstream or downstream, or more upstream really, at other problems that might be causing this issue for us. So that's a wonderful analogy. Let's broaden the horizon and look for other potential root causes of the problem you're facing. It might be a business process that's failing, it might be an individual that's not going so well, it might be yourself. Look for the factors that are driving that.
Righto, Chief. There you have it for this week with our mini Chief episode.
All the links and resources can be found for this episode at chiefmaker.com/325.
And if you'd like to stay in touch with Chief Maker, just go to chiefmaker.com/subscribe.
Now, Chief, do you find yourself at work in one of those incredibly stressful moments where you've got someone on your team that either isn't performing or is behaving poorly, and you know deep down that it needs a difficult conversation? One of those ones that can keep you up at night. You know if you get wrong, there's going to be HR issues, but you know if you get right, it could actually be a little bit career defining, and it will make life so much better for so many people, but you just keep putting it off and off and off. Well, Chief, we've created the ultimate resource for you. It is called Difficult Conversations. Download, it's not hard, but what's in it is what's most powerful. The mindsets, the frameworks, and even some of the scripts, the words to use to make those conversations much more easy. Just go to chiefmaker.com/difficult and you could download the full resource right there.
Righto, Chief. As always, remember to stay happy.